Hi, I'm John Kipps. I've just curated the show A Moment Before Decadence at CoExist Galleries. This is my piece. There's also Geoff, Litherland, Frankie and David Watkins in the show. It's kind of sort of extended forms of painting. Everything's got a very sort of painterly essence to it, even if it doesn't use paint in the work. Painting, the moment was kind of used sort of in processes to capture the best part of the process. Sort of that moment. Also, sort of Frankie Charles's moment is in the sort of the photography that he does, and sort of capturing a moment of time and things like that. That was kind of the sort of underlying theme for the show. What I was looking for was trying to create sort of a dialogue between the different works in the show, so it was quite sort of open-ended in a sense.
So yeah, my painting, I mean, what's interesting is the relationship between the painting as a whole and the other pieces of work, which are sort of derived from painting. I suppose my work is coming more from a sort of traditional historical aspect of it, and I'm very interested in different processes, different techniques, different ideologies, and I suppose reasons why people were painting, and how these can be combined to reconnect and to make new, basically not new, but to make images that draw from the history, but also some sort of semblance of contemporary painting, and maybe sort of act towards some sort of, you know, by these reconnections to make some sort of connections to a future, or to predict some sort of future. There's a lot of narratives placed within the work. A lot of them are quite related to religion, to science, to philosophy. This one here is related to, this is called Flying Spaghetti God, so it alludes to Richard Dawkins' theory that, you know, if you're going to make a god up, you might as well make one that's completely crazier. And there's all these little sort of threads of narratives that come across. Here we have a combination of a Frederick Edwin Church landscape painting. He's a big American Hudson School painter. There's a little section of it, and the cutout shape comes from a Robert Crumb drawing of a woman with a very large breast. So this painting is called Blue Tits, and as well as you know, the idea of using different painting techniques, I'm very interested in sort of the idea of different ideologies and how those techniques relate to those. So in this instance, I'm interested in this, I suppose, like a failed utopic vision of a romanticism where man is a sort of pioneering spirit trying to control and understand nature, in contrast with a more sort of modernist tradition where, you know, the materials and how they were used were sort of trying to create a space or a place for, you know, for like another utopic vision, and how with history now and how we can look back at it, how they're both in essence
My name is David Watkins, and this is my large painting called Converge. It's all about the process and breaking down the paint and let it form its natural patterns. So you have a certain amount of control, then you just have to let go and let the paint do the work. I have a big scaffold tower and poured paint from the top all the way down with lots of gloss and varnish and panicking in between.
Yep, this is my piece here that I've made. It's called Bruiser, and it's wood, canvas and paint. That's what it's made from. I've spent quite a lot of time in this space, and one thing I've always thought is that it's kind of split into two sections. There's this side here and then this side here that's separated by the archways, and I thought it was kind of interesting, and I wanted to make a piece that sort of bridged the gap between the two of them, and so this piece is kind of sort of stuck in between the archways. It's kind of not sure which space it's in, and it's kind of trying to squeeze out, sort of wriggling around and things, and that's kind of the basic idea behind it, as well as sort of some so I've got quite an interest in sort of formal ideas of sculpture as well, sort of, and also sort of the idea of the show as well is this sort of painterly essence to it. So, but I've tried something new with this piece. I tried to sort of get like a human element into it, which is where the sort of the bruiser idea came in, and it's kind of, I see it as sort of like a trapped sort of creature in a sense.